guys, welcome to my first drive video on Audi's 2025 facelifted RS3. The RS3 has been a big seller and a popular model for Audi. In fact, since it was launched way back in 2011, they've sold around 80,000 units. And this very latest 8Y facelift promises to be the best of the lot. In the UK, an RS3 Sportback is going to start at £59,500. You'll pay about £1,000 more for the saloon version. I actually filmed a first look video on the facelifted RS3 a few months ago in Malaga. I'll put a link to that in the description below because I go into more detail about what the changes are with this latest model. Today is going to be more about driving than looking at the updates. But let's have a quick look around at some of the major updates before getting out on the road and then getting out on the track. This particular car is in frozen Daytona grey. I think it looks absolutely stunning, especially out here in the Spanish sunshine. It really shows off all of the lines and design and aggression of the RS3. The front end's been completely restyled. New bumper, new honeycomb mesh, new Audi rings, and the Matrix LED headlamps have a number of different daytime running light options, just like they do in the S3. But unique to this RS3 are these checkered flags, which I think look really good, especially at night, maybe not so much in direct sunlight. When we get around the side of the car, the first thing you probably notice are these gorgeous 19-inch RS alloys. I believe they're standard on the Carbon Black edition and the Carbon Vorsprung edition in the UK, but not on the base model. It retains those gorgeous flared and vented front wheel arches, and they look even more aggressive in this frozen Daytona grey. In terms of tyres, at least in the German market, you have a choice between the regular P0, the P0R, which this car is on, and the Trofeo R, which is an extreme track tyre, which will be the tyres that are on the car that I take out on track a little bit later. And this particular car has some kind of carbon kit on it. We've got carbon canards around the front, carbon door mirrors, carbon sills. We have carbon that surrounds the all-new rear diffuser. And I know the rear diffuser is a bit of a talking point on this facelifted RS3. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's a bit Marmite. I personally think it looks really good, but it is color dependent. If it contrasts too much with the paint color, then maybe it looks a little bit aftermarket. But on a car like this, I think it looks really good, especially with the carbon that sort of breaks it up. And lastly, we have these OLED rear light units that I think, once again, look really good. This wouldn't be an RS3 unless it had a 2.5 litre 5-cylinder turbocharged engine. Power and torque figures are unchanged compared to the predecessor in the car that it replaces. Again, that is a hot topic online. A lot of people are quite upset about that. Something you need to bear in mind is this latest model has just lapped the full Nordschleife Nürburgring in 7 minutes and 33 seconds. And that is 7 seconds faster than its predecessor. Audi RS say it's all down to chassis and software, which is really, really impressive. And I look forward to putting that to test out on track a little bit later. That runs through Audi's 7-speed dual clutch gearbox and is fed to the ground via all 4 wheels. They claim it will do the 0 to 62 sprint in just 3.8 seconds and go onto a top speed of 180 miles an hour, providing you tick the right options. Before I close this bonnet, I just want to commend Audi on producing, in this day and age especially, the most attractive engine bay this side of an Audi R8. I think it looks absolutely stunning. Jumping inside, and in line with the rest of the A3 and S3 range, they have lifted the quality of the interior. They've used better material in places. What is completely new is this double flattened steering wheel, or whatever they call it. I'm not a fan of the way it looks, and although it doesn't feel bad to touch, it's got a nice thin rim, I'm not a fan of the haptic buttons. Although I have been driving this car in anger this morning for a couple of hours, getting all of those drive-bys, and not once have I fouled any of those buttons. So that is a good sign. We have a checkered flag button down here that gives us performance mode, which I'm in at the moment, and we have an RS button, and you can configure all of that. There's more drive modes in this latest version. We've still got the wonderful torque splitter rear diff, which is very trick and definitely helped improve the pre-facelift 8Y RS3. I remember when I drove that car, picked it up in Germany, took it down to Austria, and I was absolutely blown away, even on winter tyres, by how much better dynamically that car is and was. So it'll be no surprise if this one does feel better. As we talked about on the outside, 7 seconds around a lap of the ring is a big gain, and if we've got no more power and torque and the same 1680 kilos I think weight, then yeah, it's got to be all down to chassis setup and electronics, the way it distributes everything, the way it enters a corner, the way it sits in a corner, and the way it exits a corner. Something that is missing from this gorgeous press car are the new optional carbon bucket seats. If you watched my first look video on this car, you'll know I'm a big fan. They give you a better driving position, they give you much more support, and to me at least, they're more comfortable than these standard sports seats. These are okay, but they're nothing special by today's standards. The good news, as of a week ago, so 2 weeks ago by the time you watch this video, well, the UK product team have decided to offer the UK the carbon buckets, because when I did the first look video, they had decided that the UK weren't going to get the option of the carbon buckets because they thought that they'd be too expensive and the uptake would be tiny. And I'm sure the uptake's going to be no bigger than 15 or 20%. But I can tell you now, for the 2,000 odd pounds that they're going to charge you, that is an option that you should definitely go for. And on top of the better driving position, more support, and arguably more comfort, they look like $1 million. Before we take out on track, let's see what it's like along a tight and twisty public road. Oh, I tell you what. I mean, the RS3 has always been a fast point-to-point car, but this is just on another level now. Am I crying out for more power? No way. Oh, it's just beautiful. The balance. I've got everything switched off. Sounds amazing on the outside. Sounds amazing in here. Just brilliant. The brakes are really strong. This has got these standard steel brakes as well. You can get carbon ceramics on the front axle. I assume the car I take out on track will have the carbon ceramics. But on the road, I mean, these have not faded all day. They're mighty. They feel really, really good. The steering feel, it's definitely better steering feel than anything that BMW offer, without a doubt. Let's head to the circuit and see what it's like out on track. Right, let's test out this car's claimed acceleration figures. Audi say it would do the 0 to 62 sprint in 3.8 seconds. Conditions outside are perfect. We're going to have no traction issues whatsoever. I'm in performance, I'm in sports automatic. I have all the traction and stability aids switched off. My Racebox Mini is now ready to go. Not sure if that camera's going to pick it up. Left foot is hard down on the brake, Right foot on the accelerator, launch control, program activated, here we go. Oh my goodness. And there we go. 3.4 seconds, 3.43 to be precise. And it's in the green, so it's nice and flat. 3.4 seconds for your hot hatch. Once again, do you need more power and torque? Surely that is fast enough. That is nuts. That's insane. The new RS3 out on track. Before we really start pushing, let's just talk about this car's specific spec. Firstly, it's Kyalami green. I love the colour. It's the same colour of the car that I had the first look video out in Malaga. Secondly, it has the wonderful carbon bucket seats, which already are helping me out on track. They're just brilliant. And the last thing to talk about is this has the carbon ceramic brake option, which is only, I say only, it's the front axle, which is what does most of the braking, especially when you're out on track. I'm going to start off in performance. I've got all the traction stability switched off. Performance is what I spend most of my time in on road. Gives this car a very balanced feel. There's nothing artificial going on with that torque splitter rear diff. But if you're really aggressive, it will start to rotate. It's fantastic. First thing to talk about is the brakes. They feel mighty. Steel ones felt really good on the road, but these out here, especially from bigger speeds, you notice it straight away. Next thing to talk about is the pace. This feels like it has more than 400 horsepower. It did on the road as well. Really, really quick. But RS3s have always been quick in a straight line. What they haven't been brilliant at least before the 8Y, is going through corners like that. It feels rear driven, and we're not even in a rear bias mode. Wow, it has so much grip, so much composure. Got to slow down here for the chicane. Just chuck it in there, 70 odd miles an hour. It's just brilliant. Get the nose in, I can feel it rotating a little bit. It's very different to, let's say, G87 M2, in the sense that you have to be a bit more patient at the apex. You can't fully rotate it on the throttle, at least in performance, but it does help. It really does. You can feel the whole car working. Corner exit, mighty, absolutely mighty. This thing is a rocket ship. Wow. What can I say? I was impressed with the pre-facelift 8Y RS3, and this car just builds on that. You need to go for the carbon buckets unless you're strictly using this as a daily and you find it difficult to get in and out of these. And let me tell you, they're nothing as difficult to get in and out of as BMW's carbon buckets or Porsche's carbon buckets. And there's a reason for that. They're not quite as supportive as either of those. But as an overall package, well, I absolutely love this car. I didn't think I would ever have this much fun in an RS3 out on track, but it feels really engaging, really fun, and I can't wait to switch the cameras off and do one last lap and enjoy myself before my track time runs out. This car's awesome. Massive thumbs up from me. Well done, Audi RS. You've built an absolute weapon, which is no surprise because, once again, the pre-facelift car was brilliant. This has just taken it to another level. really, really good fun. I look forward to getting my hands on one back home in the UK, maybe during the winter months, because I guess that's the other thing with the RS3, unlike, let's say, the M2, this is just as capable through most of winter as it is through summer, which is just mind-blowing. What a machine. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give us a thumbs up if you did. Leave any comments and questions below. I'll see you at another one very, very soon. Cheers. By the way, this isn't my helmet, it's Audi's helmet. It's the biggest one they do, so it doesn't really fit. I look like a mobile bowling ball.